Flouting the cooperative principle. So we have 4 cooperative principles. Maxim of quality, maxim of quantity, maxim of relevance, and maxim of manner. So these are very important, and these are always found whenever we are engaged in any conversation act. However, in some instances, and we all of us daily witness it, they are breached or flouted, right? For example, if you look at this sentence, we have got millions of books in my college library. Obviously, a college library cannot have millions of books, but whenever the speaker says this sentence, the hearer understands that there are a lot of books. So he does not take this millions as word for word or in its literal meaning. Similarly, my car breaks down every 5 minutes. So this also shows that the speaker is expressing his or her annoyance or trouble to the listener, to the interlocutors, but obviously it is a bit exaggeration. So here it's not true, but it is just to express speakers' annoyance or speakers' exaggeration, etc. So sometimes these principles are flouted or they are broken. Neither is true. As we said that none of them is true. And this is something that is known between the speaker and the hearer. And the speaker does not want to deceive, or he has no intention to deceive the hearer by giving such phrases or such sentences in which he or she uses sentences or figures which are not possibly true. They are perceived as figure of speech, hyperbole, a way of making the point more forceful rather than as lies. So they are not lies. So speaker expresses them as a matter of figure of speech or hyperbole, supposition, etc., or a way of making his point more forceful. Similarly, this deliberate violation or flouting, as Grice calls them, of the cooperative principle. However, these are the breach of the cooperative principles. So, in our conversation, we use a lot of time metaphors, irony, or sarcasm, and this is a very common part of our daily conversation or daily interactions with others. So Queen Victoria was made of iron. Obviously, it's a metaphor. We are not taking this word iron as literal word. It does not mean that she's actually made up of iron. It means that she has a strong will. So it's figure of speech. It's metaphor. Similarly, I love it when you sing out of key all the time. So in this sentence, there is some sort of sarcasm, right? So it is known to each other that other is not trying to deceive. Rather, it's a sort of sarcasm. So the assumption that they will be interpreted as deliberate flouting of the charge to be true rather than as untruths intended to deceive. So they are not intended to deceive the listener, right? So they will be taken as true. However, children and foreigners or foreign language learners sometimes take the figure of speech as literal because they are not. The children have not yet understood the whole mechanism that takes place in a conversation, and similarly, the foreign English language learners do not understand how the native speaker uses these aspects, these figure of speech, these hyperbole, or how do they enforce or use their point forcefully. So there is a lot of chance that they take these words for example, I haven't seen such a thing in my life. So this is again just to enforce one's points strongly. So it may not be taken literally. Like quality maxim, other three maxim also can be flouted. They can be broken. For example, creating prolixity or terseness. Sometimes a speaker speaks more than the required, or he to be curt, to be disrespectful, he does not answer something properly. So it is known that the speaker is breaking this quantity maxim. Similarly, maxim of relevance, right? To signal embarrassment, or sometimes somebody changes a topic in a conversation on a topic, and it shows that someone is embarrassed or someone wants to start some new topic, right, or subject. Similarly, maxim of manner in the case of puns or double entendres, right? So sometimes this also is broken, this maxim of manner. There is some pun that is found in the structure of the sentence or the utterance. Sometimes we see that the speakers intentionally use such language which they want to avoid from the overhearer. For example, when in a court of law, a judge and an advocate are exchanging some dialogue, they try to use the language which may not be understandable to the convict or to the person in hearing. Similarly, when doctors are talking on some issue or diagnosing some patient, they may use some language which may not be understandable to the patient, and they do it willingly, right? So, and these are some of the occasions in which we find that the flouting, the principles of cooperative are flouted, or they have some breach, or they are broken, and this take place in everyday conversation.